Hey guys, it's Katie here with Life Mundane and welcome back to my channel. I just returned back from the Teach Them Diligently Homeschool Convention where I had a wonderful time getting to meet a lot of you guys, getting to connect with friends that I don't get to see very often, learning from amazing speakers like Israel Wayne and Kim Sturgis, Kathy Cook, and Ginger Hubbard, as well as many, many others. It was such a great time of learning and friendship, but it was also a great time for shopping. And so today in this video, I want to share with you guys some of the things that I got in the vendor hall. It was almost a little overwhelming in a lot of ways, but so much fun to get to meet a lot of these people that make the products that we know and love, and also to get some great deals. So without further ado, let's get started. Hi, my name is Katie and welcome to Life in the Mundane. I am second generation homeschool mom of 6 beautiful kiddos, and on this channel we talk all things resources. I love to share with you resources that are going to help you in your homeschooling and help encourage you in your biblical parenting, and how you can utilize those to their fullest potential so that you can make the most of the little moments. So first things first, we're going to start out with one of my favorite booths. I went back to this booth, I think 3 separate times throughout the homeschool convention, and that would be the Not Consumed Ministries booth. They have amazing, amazing products. I picked up 2 of their Bible study guides. One is Obey, a biblical study of the importance of obedience, and one is The Fruit of the Tongue, a biblical study on the power of words. These studies are so well done, and these, I never get the printed versions. I usually buy the digital ones, but they had these cute little packs. It has stickers, it has some memory verse cards in here, and I'm just really excited to dive into these with my kids. We are going to try a little bit different approach. In the past, I have always printed out these studies to do with my kids, and they each have their own workbook. However, because several of my kids struggle with dyslexia, this time I just purchased the Parents Edition, and we're going to just try this summer and a couple other different points throughout our year. We're going to be trying to just go through these studies verbally. My kids will have a sketchbook in front of them because she loves to have them do charts or draw pictures of things that are in the lessons. And so because of that, I figured we can just kind of do it verbally. So we'll see how that goes. I will link down to the description, in the description, all these things, or as many of them as I can find. But that was the first thing I got from there. The next thing I got was their brand new product. This is called the Apologia. They have a New Testament and an Old Testament one, and I purchased the New Testament one. The way this is designed, it's a flip chart that you can use in your home. It's designed to be used 5 days a week, but obviously, as with anything in homeschooling, there's lots of flexibility. It takes you through every single book of the Bible. In the New Testament, for this particular one, it has who's the original audience, when was it written, the purpose, the theme, the author, the book, and has a little excerpt here. It also has some of their most loved verses on this side. It also talks about how this is one of the Gospels, and it gives you explanation of what does that mean that it's one of the Gospels. It then goes into different terms, like did you know why people were waiting for a Messiah, and talking about who the Messiah is and what does that term even mean. And then it goes into, they have a different historical figure, different person in church history that relates to this. And they have their story here that you can read with your kids as well. And then you finish off the week with a timeline piece so you can kind of understand where everything falls in relation to each other. And then it moves on to the next book of the Bible. I really think this will be fun. I'm not sure yet if we're going to start this in the summer or if we're going to use it during our family worship time. But I was just really excited to grab it, and then I'll figure out how I want to use it later. The last thing that I got from the booth is these truth journals for kids. And I will link these down below. I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about it in this video because I have a whole video dedicated to these books and the cards that go along with them coming up here at the end of May. So be sure to stay tuned and subscribe so you can find out more. But in a nutshell, it is journals that walk your kids through typical lies that kids can tend to believe. One's for girls, one for boys, and what the Bible has to say about that. What are the truths and what are the things they should keep at the forefront of their mind. But I'll be showing you guys inside them and all the fun features coming up soon, so be sure to subscribe. Also, I stopped by and got the brand new Apologia preschool science curriculum. I am so excited to dive into this. I literally got an email, I think the week of convention, saying that they had just announced that they were going to start offering a preschool science, and so I knew I had to get my hands on it when I saw it. It's got beautiful pictures, great illustrations, easy to do lessons, fun activities that you can do with your kids. And so I will be using this with my preschooler and with my kindergartner next year. Also had some great used curriculum or used book booths within the convention hall. So I picked up some fun just extras because they were so affordable. This one is Let's Eat, and this just looked like a fun one. There's 1098. This is a classic, but we don't have it. I think we had it at one point, but it got messed up. Water's Way. Matthew Henson, the Polar Explorer, the true story about his journey to the North Pole. Larry Burkett, How Our House Works. This one's really neat. It goes through the different things in your house, from electrical to plumbing to how our furniture works within our home and all the things. And the idea is to share how those things work, like down to our drainage systems, but also how we can be good stewards of the home that God has given us, because that's something that Larry Burkett is very big about. And so I'm really excited to go into that. Clothing systems, how we can take care of the things God's given us, and things like that. So this will be a fun one to go through with the kids. I also got this one. Megan from Pennies and Salt was with me the whole weekend, as well as Jill from the Not So Perfect Homeschool. Be sure to go check out their channels. I'll link them down below, and subscribe because I know they vlogged the trip, so you'll get to see more of the details there. But Megan recommended this book to me. They're going to be using it next year, and it's Children Just Like Me. This is a book that goes through different kids all over the world and shows what they wear, what do they like to do, how are they similar, how are they different, and just thought this would be a great way to share with my kids a little bit more about this, especially as we are praying through for the persecuted church. I figured we could look up children in that area and get to see a little bit more for my kids to have that context as they're praying. I also grabbed at that booth Making Brothers and Sisters Best Friends. This is written by homeschool siblings and is all about how to help with sibling relationships. Wendy over at Plan Prep Pray has highly recommended this for a while, so I was excited to get my own copy for only $3. In addition to the Not Consumed booth and the used book sale booths, I really had a whole lot of fun checking out the different vendors that were there. So there was a lot of workshops where people shared so many great pieces of information, and many of them were authors and had their own books. One of my favorite sessions by far, actually we went to 2 of her sessions, was Ginger Hubbard, and she just came out with this new book. You might know her old book, which is Don't Make Me Count to 3, which is excellent. I read it back when my kids were little, but she just came out with this one of I Can't Believe You Just Said That, Biblical Wisdom for Taming Your Child's Tongue. Now, she said that this is kind of written more like a reference guide a little bit, so it'll have a different topic. Each chapter is on a different topic. You have tattling, you have manipulating, complaining, blame shifting, all these things. She has a little illustration of what this might look like in a child's heart, understanding what's going on in the heart when you're dealing with these issues, having heart-probing questions that you can ask your child, how to reprove your child from that particular topic, how to train your child to admit and confess their sins, how to offer biblical examples of people who struggle with this, how to set the right example. She's really big about making sure, just like scripture says, that we should not only just put off certain behaviors, but put on other ones. I'm planning to read it all the way through and then go back and reference as that is needed, but I'm not gonna know how to reference it if I don't know how it's laid out. So I'm excited to dive into that one. Israel Wayne was another speaker and author that was there, and I've heard him speak before. He is phenomenal, and he had this book. I have actually been looking at it for years, and after hearing his talk on ADHD and how to help our kids with ADHD, I was completely convinced I needed to get it. That is not the topic of this book at all, but it's called Pitching a Fit, Overcoming Angry and Stressed Out Parenting. And if you have a child who has ADHD, especially a more severe case of it, you understand why this book might be helpful, because it can be overwhelming and it can stress you out, and it can even lead to some anger from time to time. So I thought that this book would be a really good one to just kind of help get my heart right and my mind right, even when there's more challenging times and more challenging moments. Another great speaker that I heard from was Kathy Cook, and she has a lot of different books, but I picked up her Screens and Teens. There was a lot of people, like I mentioned before, that were talking about homeschooling or parenting in this digital age. What does this mean? How can we put boundaries and parameters? I really loved it though, because even though I sat in on probably 3 or 4 sessions on this topic, there was not anybody that said, well, 30 minutes of screen time is right, or this amount, or this is what you should do. It was all about getting to the heart. Why do screens hold our children's hearts? Why do they hold our hearts? How can we walk alongside our kids? How can we help them? How can we train them up in the way they should go and teach them good, healthy boundaries? But more than anything, understanding that the issue with screens is oftentimes a battle of the heart and a battle of an idol in our hearts. And so anyways, I picked up this book. I've not read it yet, but it looked really interesting. And then there were several other books that were recommended that are on Scribd, so I am listening to those as well. Can't stop there. I've got more. Another great speaker that I heard was Amber Johnston. You guys might know her from the Heritage Mom blog. She is a phenomenal blogger. I have followed her blog for, on and off for a little while, but she just came out with a book called A Place to Belong, celebrating diversity and kinship in the home and beyond. She really did a phenomenal job. I went to one of her talks about how books can be windows and mirrors for our kids, how we want to have books that reflect back what our child is going through. So it might be that you're reading books that relate to your culture or to your ethnicity. It might be that you're reading books that relate to your faith, or that to your kids that have to do with special needs and things like that. But books where they can see themselves reflected in it, or their circumstances that they're going through. But that we also want books that are windows and opportunities to see into what other people's lives are like. And she did a phenomenal job with this, talking about all of that. It was really encouraging and exciting, so I'm excited to read her book. A couple other miscellaneous things that I picked up at various books. Sunlight was giving out this fun reader. It's called A Single Shard, and they were also passing out like a little sample brochure of their what their reader guides look like, how they have the questions and answers and the different descriptions. Another thing that we got is we got the Getting Ready for Explode the Code, Get Set for the Code, A, B, and C. I've got them out of order here. A, B, and C for my kindergartner. I decided at the last second to go ahead and add this into our curriculum. It just has a lot of really good activities, working on those beginning phonics skills. We'll do several pages every day, as it just kind of helps reinforce the curriculum that we're already doing. And it's a fun workbook. She's really into workbooks. I also grabbed for my kiddos 2 new Adventures in Odyssey sets that we didn't already have, so they are very excited to get those. Another thing I mentioned in my homeschool convention video, if you guys are going to homeschool convention and haven't checked it out yet, be sure to check it out in the iCards and down in the description below, where I share tips and tricks on how to make the most of your convention experience. I talked about how there were 3 things that I really like about convention. I love going to learn and to be able to hear from all of the speakers, which you guys have seen. I really learned a lot during this weekend. I love to shop, which obviously you guys have seen, but the third thing is I love to connect with people. And so I got to connect with a lot of you guys. I got to meet you, and it was awesome. But one of the things that is neat about connecting with people and getting to know them from all over the US, all over the world, is that sometimes you can share different curriculums with one another. So for instance, I actually had a few of you guys reach out to me saying that you were going to be at convention and that you actually had things that you thought I might be interested in. So one of my amazing viewers brought me some Explode the Code books, as well as the Explode the Code level 1 and 2 teacher's guide and the book 3 and 4 teacher's guide. So that was amazing. And then I also had a friend who brought me more of the Evan Moore spelling. She saw I was going to be using that and she was ready to pass on hers, so she brought me that. Another friend brought me a book that she thought I would like. It's called To 1,000 Generations. So lots of fun goodies that were gotten throughout this experience, through connecting, through learning, and through shopping. We also did order a few other things that are not here yet. Maybe I will show those in a future book haul, so be sure to stay tuned for that. But I wanted to show you guys what I brought home from convention. Be sure to go subscribe to Megan at Pennies and Salt and Jill at the Not So Perfect Homeschool, so you guys can see those vlogs of our trip and our journey and what we learned through those sessions. And we'll talk to you guys later. Bye!